Like,
Yeah, but it changed.
I see what you're saying.
You see, and that's kind of dog.
No, I didn't. Is it for emotional support?
I have no idea. He's been-
Are we live? Okay. All right. Does anyone have any dog treats? Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Well, later, when we take a break, we'll get some. I'm partial to milk bones. I always liked those. Yeah, I know. It gets stuck in there. Okay, folks, let's get rolling. It's 11:37 according to the clock on the wall.
10:37.
Or 10:37, I'm sorry. I think that's Freudian, meaning I'd like it to be 11:37. We'll get started. Turn off your phones and anything else that makes noise. If you have anything for us, give it to Jim Curran. He's going to lead us in the pledge, in the invocation. Julie's going to lead us in the pledge. If you wish to join us, please rise.
Let us pray. We gather together here today intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faith give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Amen. Please join me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's like what, 5 or 6?
Oh, it's the screen.
Oh, so I'm being targeted? As long as it's not a bullseye.
Some kind of.
All right, well, maybe that's the inventory control, I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
How about a roll call?
Bell,
Here.
Curran,
Here?
Freeling,
Present.
Harrison,
Here.
Hinkleman, Majerick,
Here.
Martin,
Here.
Scott, Ballraff,
Here.
Werfel,
Here.
Yarborough,
Present.
Elliott.
Here,
Mr. Chair, we have 10 present, 2 absent.
thank you. The minutes from last week. If they look good, let's get them approved. Moved by Volrath, supported by Curran. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, we have communications, I understand.
Yes, you received an email from Kathy McNeil, Spectrum Health Lakeland, regarding the Community Grand Rounds event to be held on October 27th at Lake Michigan College Mendel Center from 2 to 4:30. The Community Grand Round team invite you to the first CGR social on the evening of October 27th following the main event. That's all.
Very good, thank you. We're at public comments now pertaining to the resolutions. We have a bunch of them. If anyone has anything that they would like to say about resolutions, this would be the time to do so. Let me look and see. We don't have any added resolutions, so it's strictly the consent calendar as published. Anyone have anything they'd like to share with us about resolutions? All right. Does anyone wish to pull any resolution? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Moved by Harrison. Is there support? Supported by
Freeling.
Does not matter. You were on the draw.
Photo Finish,
Yeah,
supported
Werfel.
by Werfel. Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Curran,
Yes?
Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ballraff,
Yes.
Werfel,
Yes.
Yarborough,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes,
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas.
thank you. Committee reports. We're going alphabetically today. Mr. Admin Chair.
Thank you, Matt. First in to see us this morning was Paul Janka Jr. He provided us with some statistics of the previous quarters and noted that things are starting to pick up. both in the misdemeanor and felony caseloads. He kind of likened that to things getting back to normal, starting to run more numbers like they had prior to the pandemic. Since he was in the CS last, he's lost 2 staff members. One went to Kent County Public Defender's Office, and the other one stayed right here locally to the private sector. He talked to us about House Bill 6345. This bill was introduced in July of 2022. What this bill would do is it would adding juveniles to the MIDC Act for indigent juveniles, and essentially would take the contracted attorneys we have now and make them become staff attorneys. So in case you don't remember, we have 5 juvenile court attorneys on contract. If this bill passes, we would have to take them on our staff, and they would become staff attorneys. The MIDC Act is going to fund it, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Next in to see us is Dan Fetty from Community Development and Mark Heiliger from the Road Department. And they talked about Resolution A 2210388. What this resolution is, it is to continue the non-motorized trail along M63 between Higman Park Road and Monty Road, called the Lakeview Trail. Monty Road is the trailhead that's on the Whirlpool property. So this is a grant that we're applying for through MDOT. Total cost of the project is $2.3 million. Through MDOT, it's a TAP program, Transportation Alternatives Program. They're requesting $1.4 million, and the remaining funds will be through a Spark grant of $600,000 and a DNR MNRTF Trust Fund grant for $300,000. So that resolution will be coming to you. We have a second resolution. I'll just jump right into the second resolution as long as I'm on that topic. It is A 2210389. This is a trail policy. I really got to give kudos to Annette for spearheading this and helping us through the process. And the second kudo would go to the admin committee, Dave and Julie and Jim, for all the time and effort and work that they put into this. We think it's a good policy. After today's meeting, you will receive a copy of the resolution and a copy of the policy. We pared the policy down to 2 pages. And in that 2 pages, you're going to find that we hit the highlights of maintenance costs that go into the trail, the liability that would go into the trail, are all put on the person requesting that trail be put in. So it's not on us. Oh, I'm sorry. I should also mention Mark and Kevin from the road department. They were very helpful in this, because when you get beyond the policy and you get actually into the nuts and bolts, we did that as a committee, and they were instrumental in helping us with the terminology and some of the standards that go into this. So you will be getting a copy of the resolution and the policy, and that's for us when we get together at our next meeting. And that is all of our report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Questions for admin? Madam Chair of Finance?
Thank you. Jim, you straightened out a thing that we were working on for us in the Finance Committee. We put out a bid for juvenile officers to take a contract. And Jake Lideker had no response. He did a couple of things and no one got back to him. And I said, not even the people that are doing it now? He said, no. And he didn't know a whole lot about it. And so what we came down to is that he would talk to Janksha to see, because we couldn't say that there's already some indigent defense handling this. I thought it wasn't. And you say there are 5 attorneys there and they're doing more. So maybe this is going to dissolve.
Well, if I,
Brian, yeah, help us,
I'll
tell us,
let
because we
Brian,
don't know what
if I miss
happened.
anything, you please. But yeah, Paul did mention that the contract for our juvenile attorneys is up. And he kind of likened that bill as to why he didn't get any response for it. Because why sign on as a contract attorney when I can wait a few months and be hired on as a staff attorney? So it was not surprising that they didn't get any interest in that. And that could
Yes.
very well be the reason why.
Okay, so they'll come together and work on this?
Yeah, so Paul and I have been emailing back and forth today about this. We did go through the bidding process. Initially, we thought that the current contract holders for some of those attorneys under the current contract were going to put together a bid. Unfortunately, they didn't, and there's plenty of speculation, but I'm guessing that the legislation at the state level definitely influenced their decision on why not to submit a bid. Paul and I are going to meet on Monday to talk about what our options are to address the gap in coverage. So more than likely, what we'll be doing is trying to negotiate an extension onto the current contract, bring
Okay.
that forward to both admin and finance.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. And then we had a bid that we put out for ice control sand with the road department. And we had a number of bids, and we had no total, because when you open up the bids, you don't quite know how people bid it, but they bid it by ton and by where they're delivering. So we have 5 road department garages. And so at each garage, they're making a delivery. And when I saw the difference in per ton, I thought, is it different mixture? It's the mileage. It's how far they have to come from where they are. So that's included in that. And I'm not read those two because it's like so much dollars or something per ton, and the total is this, but we had no bottom total. But they will figure that out in the road department. And we use that regular motion that we make that says if it fits what we need, da, 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 and that's the lowest bid, then go with it. But if not, come back to me if we have to, you have to go higher. And so we received those bids. And then we had overt discussion. And let me tell you what that did. There were 6 sent out and 4 received. And from Keith Riley, the bid was $69,125. From Michigan Paving and Materials of Paw Paw, Michigan, it was $70,000. From A1 Asphalt, Michigan, it was $76,000. And then from Chorba Asphalt Paving, Dewazat, it was $45,000. And again, that motion was made so that if the lowest bid fits the requirements, then we would go with it. If they need to go higher, they will come back and let us know why. And then we had a couple of waivers that we did, and we wanted to continue with this company because they have our logo already done that they can put on anything. And what we were ordering from them was signs that says it's a cloth sign, but you roll it up and let it out, saying zone ahead, work zone ahead signs, and then some safety jackets, and they'll have the Marion County logos on them. And that's what we want to stay with, the same companies that we are already working with. Then we had a very interesting discussion about gas, fuel for the trucks. And because the director was with you all, you held him up or something. He had a lady from the office that came and talked to us. Her name is Barbie Hoagie. And she explained to us about the fuel. She does this 2 or 3 times a week. She calls a number of companies that we do, distributors that we do business with, and they have to by 4:35 a.m. give her the price. And she has to engage it before the day is out, and that's what the gas will be. Well, because it's so hard now, some don't respond, some don't have the time, some don't have a truck driver to bring it. She's trying to do it for 6 months. And so we have an appointment with her that after, or by November 1, or after November 1, she can do this. So on our November 3rd meeting, she's going to come in the morning with hopefully a bid in hand, because sometimes they don't all bid, and it'll be an agreeable amount that we can engage it, accept it for 6 months, and that's what the price will stay at. We're taking a chance, they're taking a chance, because every day, the gas price changes. And so we were agreeable. There were only 2 of us in our committee, but ladies spend money well. And yes, and so we agreed that she will come on Thursday, November 3rd, and hopefully we will have the gas locked in for a while. And they want to try this because if it works well for them, because she's like during the week calling and, worrying about, getting this going, that they would have some a 6 month or a year after they do it for a while. Then we did the waiver requests. We did our approval of the weekly bills and the road payables. We accepted the minutes, and we had a discussion with our person that was in our audience, our resident. That's Terry. Can you think of other things? That's it. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know what to add other than any questions for finance. Hearing none, Mr. Chair of Personnel and Human Services, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We also met this morning. We had Jill Adams in from Parks. We talked a bit about the Silver Beach project and some of the timing and some of the issues facing that proposal. We also talked about tuition reimbursement. We'll be bringing to you a reinstatement of the tuition reimbursement program. Legal counsel's added some value.
Could you up the volume a little bit?
Why, sure. What's your name again?
Mr. Volume.
I'd be glad to speak louder. Thank you. So we'll be bringing the tuition reimbursement policy back for consideration by the board at your next meeting. We've got some input from legal counsel about some changes to make to that. And then Commissioner, we also had our chairman and our administrator in. We talked at length about a number of issues. And so that was a good discussion. And then Commissioner Bell will talk about some work being done this weekend, or in the coming weekends, by the Parks Department.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So yes, we had Jill Adams, our Parks Director, in, and she gave us an update on a few upcoming events out of the Parks Department. One being the scrap tire collection event going on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, October 22nd and 23rd. It's going to take place at the Road Department, and she said that there are going to be six collection bins, 2 already being projected to be filled up, and so she suspects that, and she anticipates that this is going to be a huge event. And I just want to comment on the great job of collaboration between a few of our departments, being that it's held at the Road Department site, and also working with the sheriff, with some of the inmates over at the jail, coming to offer their assistance, their services. And so, we suspect this is going to be a good event for tire collection. So that is my report on that.
That would conclude our report.
Very good, thank you. Any questions for PHS? All right, Commissioner reports. Terry, you want to lead off?
I attended Brownfield along with Commissioner Majerick, Commissioner Harrison. I'll save that for them to report on. Southwest Michigan Planning Commission was on Tuesday. We had a good meeting, lots of good discussion. Two items to highlight. There was the annual report from Southwest Michigan Planning Commission for 2021 projects that were worked on. What I'll do is I'll get a digitized version for the administrator to distribute to the board so you can see the work that the Planning Commission's been working on. And then the other was, there was an update from the Executive Director, John Engelhoff, as it relates to Amtrak and some of their visioning. And there may be a request to the different municipal bodies of support in the efforts as they may be looking at some transportation funding for improvements along the corridors of Amtrak service lines. So that to be further discussed and perhaps action at a later date taken. We had the budget workshop that went really well. I sat in a little bit on the trail policy discussion for the administration committee. Attended a few of the township meetings that I represent. And one of the things that I wanted to just discuss here with this board is broadband, and our ARPA application has been something that's been discussed heavily with those communities and others within Berrien County. And I know that the county, with the information we have from DCS, is well suited to synergize the efforts that are going on with the townships, looking at the opportunities for grant funding that are coming from the state and the federal government, that the county may be well positioned to align ourselves with those townships, partner together and put together a great grant application in the coming months for state and federal funding, just because of the efforts that we have here. So BC BIT will be discussing those opportunities and maybe coming here with a recommendation to the full board in the coming months. So the other thing I just want to take a moment to highlight, we have really great staff. As I left the budget hearing or the budget workshop, I happened to see a citizen having car trouble. I went over, tried to assist. And in that time, had 3 staff members who happened to just be outside, saw that there was something going on, didn't know that I was there, and came over to offer assistance. And that was 2 from Buildings and Grounds. May I name them? Skylar and Cam from Buildings and Grounds, and then Kim Feddersen from the Community Development Office. And I just want to say, we've got great staff. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. I also attended the Brownfield meeting. I'll let the chairman of the Brownfield group, Commissioner Majerick, report on that, and then also attended the budget workshop. And I would like to offer my thought that this was, I think, we had great presentations from the staff, and I thought it went very well. And, it's still, not done, but good progress being made. So appreciate all the work done by the staff. And that concludes my report.
I attended a bunch of meetings this week. So I attended our Twin Cats meeting where we discussed updates on a lot of the transit systems in Berrien County and some of the important projects that each local municipality is working on, some road agency updates as well. And we made some adjustments and some amendments to the project calendar. I also attended the Corrections Advisory Board meeting yesterday at the courthouse, and our jail population is down. And also something that's good that came out of pretrial supervision update. We're seeing a 90% success rate, which basically means those who are in the pretrial supervision program, while they're awaiting their trial, they're being released on bond and showing up to their court dates, and also not reoffending prior to their court date. So that's some good information. And I also attended our Mental Health Authority board meeting yesterday along with Commissioner Majerick. And we're just continuing going through the audit, basically trying to see ways that we can better assist the staff at the Riverwood Center and offering, better services to our clients there. And so that concludes my report.
On Tuesday, along with Terry and Julie, attended the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. Terry did an excellent job on reporting out on that. The only thing I would add is that they are in the process of updating their webpage. So they're gonna have a whole new look. On Wednesday, I attended the budget workshop. And again, like Bob said, I think that's really the first time you've done it that way. And I think it worked out pretty good. The other way, what did we take, 3 days before? This was much more concise and I thought it was well received. Then also on Wednesday, the admin group got together and worked on that trail policy. That's my report.
Yeah, I attended the meetings yesterday with Jim and our whole committee. And also today, there's going to be an open house, and it's Area Agency on Aging, and they're co-hosting the event with the Southwest Michigan Chamber. It's this afternoon between 3:30 and 5:30. It's out here on Lakeview. They've been in that building for a couple of years, but with Lynn Kellogg retiring last year, the board decided to rename that building the Lynn and Freeborn Kellogg. I love her husband's name. I'd like to talk to him sometime, but he's gone. But anyway, they're the Lynn and Freeborn Kellogg Area Agency and Agency Campus for Creative Aging. And it's going to be 3:30 to 5:30 this afternoon. It's an open house. Anybody's welcome. Stop in. They're going to have local refreshments, and you can ask about things. I mean, it's a really nice campus. They got a lot of computers, and if you're as old as me or older and want to learn a little bit more about it, they have a lot of programs available for us, and they keep that going all the time. And so everybody's welcome, and come on out and say hi.
I attended the planning commission meeting as well. Terry and Jim, I think, covered everything, except it also reminded me that why I love living so close to the lake this time of year when we got into Cass County and the amount of snow that the lake protected us from. That was really nice on Tuesday. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add to that discussion. I attended the budget hearings too. I would like to commend staff, Brian, Doug, Ben, and every department head that worked on the budget. I was, very pleased, as I know a number of other commissioners were, with a balanced budget that we're going to go into the new year with, which is excellent. The trails meeting I attended as well. And then yesterday evening, we had the community action meeting. Their calendar year is October to September. So we started the new year with a budget amendment increasing. They got an additional $1.5 million between the federal government and the state government to work on weatherization timely with the snow this week as well. They do have new staff that they have trained in the weatherization area. So we're ready to take on that. The only issue is the limits on a per house adjustments is still pretty low. And with costs skyrocketing, that low number becomes even lower because everything costs more to do. But we can still get projects done. We can still help with furnaces and water heaters and all of those great projects that need to get done in the area. And that money is over Berrien, Van Buren, and Cass counties. So it is for all three counties. Also on Community Action Agency, we got Stop and Truck coming up at Rogers Foodland. It's the week of November 14th. So mark your calendars, clean out your cupboards, whatever you do, or just write a check. But the Community Action Agency can use those funds and donations this year. That's my report.
Tuesday, I attended the Benton Township Board, and I want to thank Brian for all the information in reference the internet program that we're having. They really appreciated that, and hopefully they'll be able to keep up to date, that they can get the information sent to them so they can keep going with what plans are going to start doing now and everything. So I really appreciate that. Also attended the budget committee. I think it was smooth and really enjoyed it.
not the long drawn out to what I was used to before, where you practically almost fall asleep while after 3 days of it. And I also attended the trail policy, the administration that we had for the trail policy. I think it's a well-planned policy that we put out, and I think the board will be pleased with the work we've done in changing that to cover all the bases that we need to cover, because trails is the big thing now. So that's my report.
Well, I want to thank Commissioner Freeling and Harrison for covering the broadband, all the information. But I'll just add a few more things. We went over the budget, and everything is coming in as planned, from like Harbor Shores, Harbor Woods. Some of the projects, Whirlpool St. Joe's Tech Center, structure is up, and they're working on the inside now. Indec is up and running, and they're producing 1,500 megawatts. Jimmy John's is up and open, and I went and bought a sandwich here yesterday after the mental health meeting. And Speedway is getting torn down. It may even be down now, but last week they had a few more walls to rip down. Other than that, that's all that's with the Brownfield. Then last night, Mental Health Authority with Commissioner Bell, and they went over a lot of topics, but the big topic is they are, as he was saying, they have a outside company reviewing their data and their reviews to tell them if they're communicating and getting the right information from the staff, and if the board's getting the right information. And they will be doing interviews and investigations to help us better plan our board meetings and get the right information. Right now, we're getting a lot of data, and it's kind of like Greek to everybody, and some of it doesn't really match the actual data that should be presented. So they're trying to narrow down on it and move forward for the coming years. And that's my report.
Is Jimmy John's drive-through now?
Yes,
Mhm.
that's where I was at.
Yeah, on that other side of the street.
Can't beat that. Ma'am, before you begin, I received a text at 10:51 from Ezra saying he had no report.
That was in his spot right there. Okay. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. I attended the Michigan Land Bank Association Summit in Detroit. We started on Sunday and it ended Tuesday. It was one of the best meetings I've ever been to. It was really tight. They had a lot of things for us. The land banks in each county or city or whatever, wherever they are not big. Their staff may be 7 people or 5 people or whatever. But there is money from the state of Michigan, from our governor, that's $21.55 million. And a land bank can request up to $200,000 of that money to do some things with. And the things you can do are pretty wide. And as I think about it, we've done a number of them. Mostly you think about the land bank. We did our neighborhood stabilization program where you're able to demolish properties and put the land back and all of that. But in Detroit has a City of Detroit land bank and a Wayne County land bank. And I don't quite know how they work together or if they are cooperative or whatever. But in Detroit, there are so many properties. One of the days, one of our trips was a shuttle bus that took us around Detroit to show us the things that are being done. Then we went into a house that is ready. I don't have my paper, but it had a little slogan, done and ready. They put $235,000 in the house and they hope to sell it for $400,000. It's 3 stories. In a neighborhood, and they work a number of properties in one neighborhood so it can make a difference. And so they'll have comparables. You have to have something like, why is this house this amount? even though you put money in it and whatever. And so they were there, they explained to us what they had done, and then you could buy houses that you as a person would put back together. They took us to a commercial property. It was a garage and an artist had bought it. And just like sometimes we find the houses on this piece of land and this is vacant, but really the true title is the opposite. They have some paperwork and things that are just a mess. Like they don't know where the water is. They don't know where the sewer lines. And so they're doing all kinds of things to bring it back. This artist has made like a wall of concrete and bricks because the people that demolished the property next door put it in the ground. And so as they tried to plant flowers or something, they couldn't put anything in because there was nothing, you go this far, they put dirt over it a little bit. You hit these rocks and bricks. And so it's real interesting. And I hope they get a tighter hand on that, of what the people that are doing the work are doing before they try to, have to try to sell it. And then you've got another expense, as trying to fix this property up. To me, one of the most fantastic things was Evan and Keith, who are on HGTV Fixing Up Detroit, were the main speakers for lunch on Monday. I was like, but they are so regular and just fine young men. And one of the things, just to show how they are, there was a lady and she was interested, you're living in the neighborhood, watching them come in with this grocery cart, and working on things and making it better. This house has been empty 20 years. The neighbors are able to tell them. And there was a lady renting, and she was so interested in this house. And she said, I'll never be able to own a house. And he said, well, one of them started talking to her, how much rent are you paying? She's paying $1,000 rent. He said, you could buy a house. In 5 to 8 years, you'd have it paid for. She couldn't get a loan. She didn't have any credit, da, 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 da. And he went and did it with her and for her. And he said on the 3rd of the month, his check comes every time. She has done improvements on the house. The value has gone up, just all kinds of things that can happen. And so this meeting was just great. The people were fine, that worked in the land bank. And I think anytime you go to a conference, the people you sit and talk with, other than the main speakers, are so valuable. It gives you a lot of good ideas. And so I thank you. I thank Barron County for letting me go to that. And one thing I want to tell you, there is a hotel in Detroit called DoubleTree Hilton Suites. If you have to go to Detroit, you need a room, go there. This room probably was as long as this, from here to there. And I thought, suites, well, I got suites, but that's what it is. 2 TVs. It was just so fine. And all of our meetings were there. And it's not cheap. So I'm not saying it because of that, but it's just a wonderful, your whole family and your in-laws or whatever, you all can stay together.
Or not.
That's not the idea.
Thank you.
They could stay in another room.
And it had a connecting thing, so you would really have a big space. Okay. Yes, it would handle that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything?
Yeah, just real quick, Michigan Works is hosting a career pathway event just for high school students across the county. It's going to occur on the 28th, from 8 to 3 at the Mendel Center. And the career pathway event the idea is kids in high school come to the Mendel Center and see what career opportunities are spread across the county. So right now we have both the road department and the Parks Department are planning to attend to have information booths set up. And they're going to talk with kids about what it means to work in parks, what it means to work in roads. And this is just another example of some of the outreach that your staff are doing. And my hope is maybe we end up with some applications for lifeguards, for equipment operators. There's absolutely no shame in trying to be out there recruiting people while spreading the message about the service that's provided by the departments. I'm going to push information out to all of the departments. If we end up with more than just 2, I'll be thrilled. So I'll send the board more information on the event. And if you have a few minutes to stop by and see them, I know it would be welcomed. Those are my comments, sir.
Very good, thank you. Before we get to general public comments, I noticed Jerry Mast is here from Galeen. Jerry, did you have anything you wish to share with the board? Supervisor Mast, I should say.
Thank you, Chairman. Enough of the formalities, at least for me, but I just had one comment kind of following along with Commissioner Freeling's appreciation, and that's someone that sort of sits kind of off to the side at these meetings, our clerk, Sharon Tyler. And I just wanted to express appreciation to her for what she's done with our elections. I know she's had a lot of curveballs and this year, also a lot with your staff as well. I know there's been some weekend hours, evening hours and stuff trying to get things ready. And I left the August meeting thinking, why didn't I say something? So I wanted to come back today and make sure that you were acknowledged for your work with that. So you're welcome. And the other thing I would say is that your meetings are very soothing to certain members of the audience.
Very good. Thank you, Jerry. All right, now we'll go to general public comments. Anything under the sun in 2 minutes or less, name and town, name and town. Anyone wish to be heard?
Mr. Chair, while you're waiting for comments, I think it should be noted that Jerry has some of the cooler cars in his collection out of all of local government officials.
Oh.
So if I can make one small comment about that, we're talking about fiber broadband and we're thinking about like it's new things. The 72 Cadillac Eldorado, along with some of the other ones, actually has fiber cabling in it. It's what the headlight monitors that some of you might be familiar with is the cable that goes to the back of the lights that comes to the top of the vehicle to show what lights are illuminated. I didn't know that until about 5 years ago when we started working on it. So if you want something to say sometime about fiber cable, it's been around for a while. So
that's amazing. Yeah, that's cool. All right, Adolph, you're on.
That dog over there. You're gonna bite me. I got my absentee ballot. This is what it looks like. 2 pages.
1 page, 2 sides.
You got your name on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to make a comment on what you guys passed, or it's county. It's a public safety millage proposal. And I don't like what it says. You know, it's just propaganda. You're just seeing one side of the story. Like, for example, the public safety millage, which will be increased by up to 0.45 mils. I think there's something missing here, by 28% increase. You should have put on there how much we're paying right now. And of course, because you're trying to get it passed, right? That's called propaganda advertising. So I looked at my sheet right here, my tax bill, and it said 35 mils. Now it's going up to 45. No, that's not a 2% increase or 8%. It's a 28% increase. That should have been put on the ballot. Of course, you put that on the ballot, people probably would not have voted for it, would they? You don't put that stuff, negative advertising on if you're trying to peddle something. So I don't know who wrote this thing. There should have been somebody with besides a lawyer. I wish you should have had the other side, show that's what I just said, it should have been in there. No, then the people wouldn't vote for it, would they? Tax increase, people don't like that, do they? So what do? You kind of hide it a little bit. 45 mils, you know, that's only $45 for $100,000. Now that's an increase of $10 for me, $11.
2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Belzer. Anyone else wish to be heard? Okay, we will conclude public comments. I would note that the way that language is written on the ballot is prescribed by state statute. It has to be written that way. It's very specific as to the disclosures, the dollar amounts, and so forth. And I would say it's safe to assume that Corporation Counsel was involved in that drafting process because it's a legal document. We want lawyers doing legal documents, not dentists or anyone else who very well may be skilled, but it's not their area. So the reason it's written that way is because the law requires it. Now, other business, anybody have any?
Just a quick reminder, BC Bid is at 12:30 today. We will be hosting it via Zoom, also in person, just down the hall. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone have any? Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to tout a few developments that are happening in our communities and within my district. I attended 2 public meetings this month, one for the Nice property on Niles Road and one for the Berrien Hills property. Both are excellent developments. Both have commercial and residential elements to it that will help with our housing situation that we've talked about within the county. So, and it has multiple levels of housing within those developments. So we'll look for those to come in the near future. I'm happy to report also in Royalton, True Value's coming back in. It'll be back open in mid-November. They're expecting it. Trucks have already rolled in. They're already loading the store back up. So, and then of course, as Mike mentioned, the Speedway development in Sodas. So my 3 townships right now are really doing a lot of economic development. I'm really excited about. That's it.
Was that Cabela's before True Value, or who had that?
It was
Scottsdale.
Pater.
Pater,
And it
that's
is a
right.
different.
Okay.
But it will be the True Value brand.
Okay, super. Anyone else have any other business? Yes, sir.
I want to make the board aware of a development. Jim Stover was the township supervisor down in Niles Charter Township. Because of his health, he has resigned as the township supervisor. I was approached by the township and asked if I would fill his position. It's from now until December 31st of 2024, 2 years left on his term. I told him I'd think about it. In the meantime, I got a hold of our attorney. They got a hold of their attorney. I talked to Brian, I talked to Mac, and the legal advice is that I can do it. There is no conflict, there's no incompatible office. So Monday, October the 17th, I was sworn in as the Niles Charter Township Supervisor. So I wanted everyone to be aware of that. And I know I'm a glutton for punishment, Bob. But I want to.
It wasn't in the Wall Street Journal.
No, I know. But I also want to assure this board that, you know, I'm going to devote the time necessary for this position as well as the township supervisor. I mean, I'm fully retired, so I have the time, and I will continue to devote the time to this board. But I wanted everyone to be aware of that. Thank you.
Do you have any cool classic cars like Jerry Mast? Because if you're a supervisor, you're gonna have to get some cool cars.
Yeah, Terry's got the car.
Congratulations, Jim.
Yep, congratulations, Jim.
I don't know if I'm so full of sayings today, but your mother says you never know who's watching you.
That's scary. Okay, any other business? Congratulations, Jim.
Thanks, Max.
All right, hearing none. Announcements and reminders. I don't have any. We've heard a couple. Anybody have anything else